Thanks for the support as a channel member, Brian Herman. Well, this has the potential to be the strangest transfer special I've ever done, because there's two different ways we could go into transfer embargo. Firstly, we're on course to fail FFP, despite being well within all our budgets. Thanks, Sir Mick Powell, for not working out the budgets properly so we didn't fail FFP, which, if we fail that, it's a transfer embargo. But also, there's very strong rumours that he's selling the club this summer, which, of course, if they develop into really, really strong rumours, that will give us a transfer embargo too. So this could be like an 8-minute video of me just not being able to sign anyone. Who knows what's going to happen? Hello and welcome to part 55 of Bourne Again. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review and transfer special, because we don't know if there's going to be any transfers. Normally, I start these ready to do the season review, but somehow, some way, I haven't. I'm just going to hit continue once or twice just to see if we get there now. Otherwise, we'll do some time travel. Oh, there you go. Budgets. That's always an interesting thing to start with. So we're already failing FFP, and our budgets have considerably decreased. We had a £55,000 per week wage budget last year. It's now gone to £41,000 per week. So we are now well over our new wage budget. So not only are we probably getting the transfer embargo, but even if we don't, this team that's underperformed all year now has to lose 4 or 5 players because we're well over. We need a takeover. I think Sir Mick Powell's money's run out. We're £1 million in debt, and things are getting desperate. Right, I've just had a little walk around the garden to calm down from seeing the budgets come in. I'm not panicking. It'll be fine. Let's do the season review. We'll be fine. It'll be fine. We're all fine. Everything's fine. So, all-time best 11. As you would expect, Coots has made it into... I'm assuming it was Coots anyway. Yeah, Taylor Coots has made it into the all-time best 11, as he rightly should. On the left wing, which... I guess we did play him on the wing a little bit towards the end of the year. But this is now our all-time best 11. Still playing the 4-2-4 that we used way back when. So Griffin in goal, who, until very recent, I thought... No, nonsense. Talking nonsense. I thought he was still knocking around the place. It's 3 years ago he left. I've got to keep up to date with what's going on here. Matter still going strong for Stocksbridge. Is he a club legend at Stocksbridge yet? Let's just double check. He is still not a club legend at Stocksbridge. Still trying to get up to Jamie Vardy level, but he's getting there. He's an icon at Stocksbridge now, which is lovely stuff. Morrison, also in the all-time best 11, now playing for Oldham in League One. These are the kind of players we need to be able to bring back, and we're just not going to be able to. Charlie Wiggett, again, just having a lovely season down in League Two with us, but we couldn't afford to get him. We tried to bring him back last year and he wouldn't come. Neil White is at Oldham, not playing though. I mean, he wasn't getting in our team all last year, but he's moved up to Neil One? Neil One, League One, where to be fair, he's not getting in the team. Dootson in central midfield is another one where he just hasn't been getting in our team, but he's in our all-time best 11, on loan to Exeter in League One, where he's played more games in the second half of the season on loan to them than he played for us in the first half of the season. Do I even know what I'm doing? Matthew Smith, we know, retired because he wouldn't come back to us on loan. Taylor Coots, we know all about. Leahy, God, you remember Jack Leahy from the really early days? He was a wonderful player to have. He hasn't been in our all-time best 11 all the time, has he? He seems to have snuck back in. Who's usually on the right wing? And then Connor Carty and Jamal Hector Ingram have both now retired. And some familiar names down on the bench as well. What's Kyle Bartley up to now? Now the under-23s assistant manager at Sunderland. So that's quite... Why didn't we give him a job? He obviously didn't want a staff job with us, which is a little bit harsh. So our end of season awards, Taylor Coots, overwhelmingly player of the year, 77% of the votes. Richard Robinson gets runner-up, 11%, and Lavelle third place on 9%. Bradshaw got goal of the season, which presumably is going to be another one of his free kicks. We know this boy can hit a free kick. We saw him do it in the playoff final last year, and I'm sure he did it another 3 or 4 times over. Of course, it's a free kick. Bradshaw can hit a free kick, and there's another example of it. Richard Robinson, signing of the season. I think that kind of says it all, because he's a striker who we played out on the wing and he wasn't very good, and that was the best player we brought in all summer. Coots, no, he's not signing of the season, despite being player of the year, young player of the year. in the all-time best 11, but doesn't class as signing of the season. I don't understand. Team of the year is Williams in goal, a back four of Mark Sheffel, Matt Suzaka, I have to read his name every time, Lavelle and Dodd. I don't think we ever played that back four altogether. Bradshaw, McWilliams, Broadbent and Robinson in midfield, and Westbox and Coots up front. It just doesn't look like a good team. I think there's a lot of work to do here this summer if we get the opportunity to do it. Coots, top scorer on 33 and highest average rating. Robinson, most assists with 8. Westbox, best pass completion. Coots, most man of the match. And Dodd and Robinson are the naughty boys club. We did exactly what we were supposed to do. We were supposed to finish mid-table, and we have. So we can't be too upset about that. It's just not fun to be a part of, is it? And then club vision stuff. Still Sir Mick Powell at the moment, but probably going to be leaving this summer. He wants defensive, counter-attacking, high-tempo football, and he wants me to work within his now newly lowered budget, reminding me my contract's up at the end of next season. Wants a top half finish this coming season, playoffs the season after, and just challenging for the playoffs forevermore. So views us as a long-term League Two team, which, to be fair, in real life, a team like Bourne, with a support the size we've got, a reputation like ours, a history like ours, a 4 or 5 year run in League Two would be sensational. So I can understand why that's what he's aiming for, but we obviously want more than that. We'll accept that vision. That's fine. Broadbent and Bond are the two team leaders, and neither of them play particularly regularly. So that's another illustration that much work is to be done. But we do need to... We need to shuffle things around for a top half finish. It's been a long season. Have a good break. You need to come back fully refreshed because we're aiming for top half next time. Terry Broadbent loves that. We'll give him a good old pat on the head, and they can go on their end of season break. They're off for nearly 2 months, and when they come back, half of them won't, because we'll have got rid of them and tried to figure out how to initially solve this problem and this problem. And if we manage to solve those 2 problems quickly enough, we might be able to bring some players in. But I suspect the next thing you're going to see is either me showing you a transfer embargo for failing FFP or a takeover. I suspect either of them will happen before we bring in a player this summer. This doesn't look like a good sign. Board to delay required stadium expansion. So this is probably why we don't ever have any fans in the ground. The board have decided to use their right to postpone the league required stadium expansion until next season, providing the club is able to retain its current category. Yikes. League Two bosses have communicated to the club they're currently 1,200 seats short in their stadium and need to increase overall capacity by 700 to match the league's minimum requirements. We've got 1 year to comply with the requirements outlined, and the board have decided that the cost of the proposed work would be too much to incur at this point in time. We need a takeover. Abbey Lawn's located in Bourne. It has room for 4,300 supporters with a capacity to expand to 5,250. So we can expand it big enough and convert some seats. I wonder if we're ever going to be able to, though. If we can't afford to do it, what is our plan? Are we going to be playing at London Road in Peterborough next season or the season after? It was very... because we were supposed to be looking for a new ground. I don't know if we still are. So we are still searching for a site for a new stadium, but we're not going to have a new stadium open in time for 12 months' time, surely, unless it's about to get announced, but I don't see how we could afford it, unless Sir Mick Powell is planning on taking out a rather large loan, ideally to cover our overdraft and pay for a new ground. Hopefully with a big expansion capacity, so we don't have to move to Milton Keynes like Home did last year. I don't usually show much of the money stuff, but I think it's relevant this summer. So, money that's going on at the moment. We've paid £190,000 out in bonuses to that bunch of jokers who just finished 16th in the league. We're £1 million in debt, and we're giving a £200,000 bonus for failure. We do get £482,000 for participating in League Two. It was a record high finish, but a record low number of wins, record low number of points. Coots only finished 3rd for goal of the season. We avoid paying tax because we made a big loss. We've got a new kit sponsorship for £8,000 a year. That's what we're up against with our reputation. We have our new scouting budget, which, I mean, we might actually... So that adds up to like 30 grand. We can't really push up to the next one, so we are just going to continue scouting League Two. We'll have a bit of money left over there. And Sir Mick Powell, oh, I love you, Sir Mick. He's put £1.2 million into the club. So we've now got a £400,000 balance, which somehow means we're not going to fail FFP anymore. I don't really understand, because this is supposed to be on salary rather than profit or anything like that. But all of a sudden we can offer that much. which I mean, our budget doesn't meet that. Oh no, here we go. The club has been placed under a transfer embargo. Players may be signed on a free transfer up to a maximum wage of £10 a week. So we did fail it last year. And that's what we can do. Where's the confirmation of that? I have not seen confirmation of that come in. Embargo. Oh, here we go. Did I not read this one? So this is from earlier this morning. Current financial fair play League 2 has ended. The club is currently spending £875 per week more on player wages than allowed to comply with the regulations. As a result, Bourne have had an embargo placed upon transfers. The club finances will be monitored on a monthly basis and the restrictions remaining in place until the club can show that its finances have improved enough for it to be able to meet future financial play regulation checks. So the fact we're now meeting it. The next financial fair play regulation check for this competition will be 1 month from now. In order to pass the next regulation, the club will have to reduce its current player wage total by £875. They'll need to be achieved through player departures and the renegotiation of existing contracts. The wages from the following players are excluded from the wage check: under 21 homegrown players, of which we have none. But if we then go to the FFP page, because you're allowed a certain amount of increase per year, we're now allowed up to £50,000 per week. So we will pass it next year. So do we still have to reduce by 875, even though it says we've got a surplus? It says period end date, end of the month. I think we're under embargo effectively until the 20th of June on players we pay for, because, hold on, is that? So he's exempt. Hooray. This lot all count. That's an interesting screen I've not used before. But free transfers for under 10k a week aren't limit. We're not, so it makes no difference to us. We weren't going to buy anyone anyway, so we have no money. So we were only ever going to get free transfers for less than 10 grand a week. So I don't think it affects us at all. And I think the embargo lifts by the 20th of June. So when we get to 1st of July and we normally do our free transfers, I think we'll be out of this embargo. Whether or not we then enter into a new embargo as part of the club being sold, we shall... Oh, in fact, there we go. We're once more in a position to operate in the transfer market after improved finances, so because we've been allowed the annual increase. So, seems a little bit pointless even having that rule in place when we've managed to wriggle out of it that easily. We were under transfer embargo for a day. So now, is Mick Powell still looking to leave? He loves the club. I mean, he's just put £1.2 million in. So... does that mean takeover rumours are gone as well? And we kind of go about business as usual. We still need to trim the fat, but we're looking a lot healthier now, thanks to Sir Mick Powell, than we were 3 hours ago. This is good. Sometimes you've got to wonder if it's even worth the notification. Sir Mick, just keep it to yourself. We're in League 2, for goodness sake. A £160 a year sponsorship deal. I don't think I need to be told. What's even being sponsored there? This is a new thing we've not really been able to do before. Players we don't particularly want to keep, we can actually get money for them now. Not a lot of money, but old Toby Saving, the goalkeeper with the most appropriate name ever, who only played once and kept a clean sheet and probably wonders why he only got to play for us once. He's gone to play for Blackpool. £20,000 into our coffers, which is very, very welcome. We still haven't sorted this problem yet, but once we hit 1st of July, it should sort out. There's a lot of players going to be released then. It's only really the promising youngsters of the ones who are out of contract that I've offered new deals to. So the likes of Bond and Dorset and players like that have been around for a few years but don't really play regularly. Expect them to be getting released unless I have a change of heart in the next 2 weeks of game time. There was no change of heart. There's lots of familiar faces have left here. Anang finally gone after just freezing him out for 2 years. He was out on loan at Guiseley last season. In fact, we only froze him out for a year. Wow, feels like 2. Dorset's gone. Jake Garrett is gone. Sheedy, Bond, Quigley, Dootson, our record signing. Still the only player we've paid money for. All leaving the club, plus some of the youngsters as well. We do have a bunch of contracts due to expire next summer, but we're not going to get involved in extending any of those yet. That seems a little bit premature, bearing in mind the financial situation that we're in. But we are now back within our wage budget. I mean, we don't have a huge amount of wage budget to play with. And certainly once the loans leave, in fact, if they've already gone, they have gone. We are on a paper-thin squad. So Williams is a decent keeper. Horlock's a decent backup. But Mark Sheffield's the only left back we've got. Dodd and Webster are fine at right back. Lavelle, Matsuzaka, Katamol, I guess they're fine, but none of them are great. Central midfield was still very strong. Broadbent, McWilliams, Hackney, Montgomery. I think we're good there. Watch, we signed 3 of them now. Up front, we've got Robinson and Richardson, who are both fine, but neither of them scoring loads of goals last year. Obviously, Robinson spent most of the season out on the wing. Richardson didn't play a huge amount of games from the start, but neither of them getting into double figures for goals. So I'd kind of like a better striker than that, because they're more likely to be in the team in the wide areas, although wide areas definitely need improving. McNulty was just a mistake. He's got 2 more years left on his contract as well. I hope he comes good, but on the right-hand side of midfield, he's not first choice. He's not first choice at right back either. He's just an expensive third choice in a variety of positions, and we don't really have much in the way of attacking midfielders at all. So there is much to do and not much to do it with. So at least we're not under an embargo. Is Mick Powell still happy at the club? He is. 136 season tickets. What a bunch of heroes. Let's bring in some trials. Right, 10 days have passed and it's proving pretty tricky to... We've got the same issue we've had on many saves many times in the past, where the players who come to us that we can afford don't improve the team, and the players we can afford don't improve the team. So we've made a few signings. We still have a little bit of money left to spend. I'm looking at loan players now, so hopefully next update will be some loan players. The big headline of what we brought in, though, is the return to Bourne after many, many years of Graham Dodds, now 26 years old, and he's been slumming it playing for Cambridge for 6 years. But what that means is 6 years of experience in League Two. Yes, he's never been a prolific goal scorer at this level, but he was for us in Tier 8 many moons ago. I just can't resist bringing back a former player when the opportunity presents itself, and plus one that's got more than 50 goals in League Two. We don't have anyone else at the club who's scored more than 50 goals in League Two, so Graham Dodds is back at Bourne. The rest of the squad is a mix of young players who will hopefully get better, that we're taking a bit of a gamble on because they're cheap, and not a lot else, to be honest. It's mainly that. So Duncan Bly is an 18-year-old left-back with decent potential who comes in from Watford. Neil Edwards is an 18-year-old right-back with decent potential who comes in from Swansea. Spot the pattern here. I could just edit. All I need to do is edit the names in. Stuart Sadler is an 18-year-old centre-back with decent potential who comes in from Tottenham. These are the only players I can afford. Can we go back and show the rest of them? Why is the computer not working? Chris Saunders is an 18-year-old midfielder with good potential who comes in also from Swansea. That's 2 players in from Swansea. Dodds, I've already shown you. Michael Norman is an 18-year-old right winger with good potential and actually some decent current ability as well. Michael Norman looks like he might be a pretty decent signing, which is exciting stuff. Kyle Washburn is 20. He's an old man. A 20-year-old centre-back with decent current ability, decent potential, comes in from Birmingham. And then lastly, for now, is John Ryan, who's a 20-year-old central midfielder who, that one might have gone a little bit wrong. But we've got loads of money left in our wage budget. But we were looking at, I think I've sent all the trialists away again now. There was one who was a left winger who was the same current ability as Robinson on the left wing, and he wanted $4,000 a week to come and sign for us. I just can't justify that kind of money on that kind of player. Brad Thornton, no, just not good enough for what we need. So I think we're going to have to go with something not a million miles away from what we've got here. Hopefully we can find some good loans to flesh out the squad a little bit. But if we can't, we're going to go with youth, because I think it's the only thing we can afford. Well, it seems the media think we're going up automatically this year. They're obviously impressed with my loan signings that have just come in. We'll have a little look at them now. So Carlo Driscoll is a centre-back who is on loan from Burnley for the season. 3-star current ability player. We also signed Graham Goldie on loan from Barnsley for the season. He's a left winger who can also play up front. 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential, was on loan at Tranmere last year. We did try and get the likes of Bradshaw and Coots and those kind of players back again. We looked at Jacob Quinn, but they either wanted too much money in the case of Coots or found better options in the case of Bradshaw, because I think Goldie is probably a better option and has the flexibility to be able to play up front as well, which is a handy additional string to his bow. We snuck in another free transfer, Tim Glendon, central midfielder, 20 years old, has potential from Blackburn. The typical kind of signing that we're bringing in this summer. Joel Barnes is an interesting one. He's a 21-year-old left back who is 3.5-star current ability and has played 60 times in the Championship for Forest already. I can only assume they got promoted to the Premier League. They didn't. So why on earth are they loaning out a left back who played 30 games for them in the Championship last year? Either way, that's some good calibre of player coming in to offer some good competition to Mark Sheffield. We've now got two very, very good left backs. Jordan Palmer is the attacking midfielder that we need. 3.5-star current ability. He's coming from Derby, where he scored twice in the Championship last year. And then lastly, for now, Anthony Berry is a striker / right winger. We've brought him in really to play on the right wing. But if Norman is as good as he looks, he could always go and offer some competition up front as well. We've got some decent options up front. And on the two wings now, we're looking good attacking wise. This is the current team report. If we make it through to the squad depth page, I think we're set for strikers. I think we're probably set for wingers. We could do with one more attacking midfielder. We've only really got Palmer as an option in there. Central midfield, where maybe we could, I mean, we've got numbers, but not much in the way of quality. If McWilliams and Broadbent are our two best central midfielders, it feels like we could do with maybe a better one in there. Palmer, a little bit of a, oh, in fact, Palmer can play as the attacking midfielder, so he's not a disappointing signing at all. I'm talking nonsense. Yeah, he looks like he'd fit in nicely. And then Barnes, best left back. Mark Sheffield, good competition. O'Driscoll plus Matsuzaka, Lavelle, Catamol. That's enough competition at centre back. Dodd and Webster are fine at right back. Williams is okay in goal and still should get better. He's still only 22 years old. And Horlock can be a perfectly acceptable backup in goal. Finances now look like this, so we're closing in. Well, we're not closing in on our wage budget, but I am looking at FFP again, which is saying we shouldn't be spending more than £50,000 a week. So realistically, we can bring in maybe a couple more players. Christine is one we are looking to bring in. I know this would be a sixth loan, so we'd be in a situation where we can only play 5 of them again. I think having 6 loans is fine because there'll always be one who's injured or suspended or something. And he does offer us that little bit of extra quality in central midfield. And then it's just a case of finding another attacking midfielder who realistically is going to have to be someone that we bring in permanently, because we don't want to be in a situation where we've got 7 loans again. So if we just have a look on here for what we can find in unattached attacking midfielders, sort that by current ability. This guy, see, I don't really want to sign a 28-year-old. Steve Carson at 25. Let's have a little look at you, Steve Carson. I mean, he looks like a decent signing. The only problem is he's going to be expensive, but lots of league experience. Was very good in the National League last year. Wants to use it as a stepping stone. He's 25 years old and getting back into the Football League. Someone thinks rather a lot of himself, it seems. He's not going to come close to accepting that deal. Ooh. Right, we need to get rid of the signing on fees. We don't have any money for signing on fees. There we go. That might be squad complete. We're still missing out on players. It's frustrating. We've brought Christine in, who we were looking at before. So that's the midfield finish now. We still need an attacking midfielder, but Dean can play there if push comes to shove. And we've signed Des Hattersley, who's another goalkeeper that we're going to try, who's apparently a little bit better than Williams, has Championship and Premier League experience. So at age 23, not a bad young goalkeeper to bring in. We are very close to hitting that 50,000 point, though. So I think we probably need to really prioritise for a final signing an attacking midfielder. It is essential that we have a little bit of cover in that position. And there's one here called Chapman. I mean, that seems perfect. He's on trial with Cheltenham, which isn't ideal. I'm tempted to just gazump them without scouting him, which is completely against what I would normally do. We've only got 57% of scout report, but I think that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to try and get in and just nick him off of them because we need him more than they do. So we can't pay signing on fees. We don't want to get stuck into promotion wage rises because then we'll be afraid to get promoted. Let's just see if we get him. Well, we've not been able to get him yet, and it is now the first day of the new season, so we're going to have to go into it with just one attacking midfielder. Obviously, the transfer window for us doesn't close just yet, and doesn't close at all for free transfers, to be honest. So we should be okay. We brought in one more young defender, this one from Leicester. So there is still money in the budget to buy or to sign Chapman. We could do with a Chapman. We don't have enough Chapman at this club. But I don't think it's actually been a terrible transfer window in the end. Utilising loans. I think we've got some decent strength in depth in most areas. Like I say, attacking midfield we could really do with fixing. But everywhere else, I think we should be looking pretty good going into the first day of the new season, which will be tomorrow's video. So if you are looking forward to that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on... That's not what I say. If you've enjoyed this, you should thumbs up anyway, and you should be looking forward to tomorrow. But really, the thumbs up on this video is about enjoying this video, not looking forward to tomorrow. I know what I mean. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.